A man threw stacks of $100 bills from his car window. A woman injected herself with a black widow spider to get high, and Japan asks schools not to penalize students if they're late because of a groping. These are the weird stories for Monday on Weird AF News, the only daily weird news podcast recorded by a comedian inside a closet. Oh yeah! Oh yeah! A generous man threw stacks of $100 bills from his car window. A man threw piles of cash out of his car window. Why? Is he out of his mind? Is he so rich? Let's keep reading. This guy threw cash out the window on Oregon's I-5 freeway. On the freeway! It's a dangerous place to throw cash because people are going to then run around on the freeway to get it. This occurred this past week. It says here, several lucky bystanders stopped their vehicles, got out, and grabbed as much money as they could. Yeah, of course. Wouldn't you? I'd pull over, go to my trunk and get my butterfly net. Yeah, I carry a butterfly net in my trunk. That's a great tool to use to catch flying $100 bills, I think. Or I would just cover myself in crazy glue and just roll around on the ground, see how many hundreds could stick to me, then get back in my car and drive off. I would follow this guy, though, wherever he's going. He seems very generous. Is he going to his house? Is he going to give me bars of gold at his house? It says here, this guy's name is Colin Davis McCarthy, age 38. The family of Colin Davis McCarthy told the Oregon State Police that he drained their bank accounts in order to fund this stunt, and this left them all broke. So he stole all this money from his relatives and then chucked it out the window? He's got the wrong idea of how Robin Hood works, I think. It says here the state police responded to a report of money being thrown out of a vehicle at 7 p.m. on Tuesday on the freeway near Eugene, Oregon. 7 o'clock. All right, so might be a little dark. I'm wondering why he didn't throw it in the middle of the day when it would be easier to find the money. He's just trying to give a challenge to the people. I'll give you free money, but you're going to have to work for it. You're going to have to get it on the freeway at 7 o'clock. The news outlet identified this man McCarthy as the man throwing the money. He later told the police that he distributed about, get this, $200,000 total in cash out the window on the highway. Wow. Now, they're questioning this estimation of $200K. Officials say the figure was uncertain, but was probably lower than that. But in the thousands of dollars, news footage showed at least some of this cash was in $100 bills, suggesting a pretty large total that was out the window and on the freeway nonetheless. McCarthy said that he threw the cash out of his car because he wanted to, quote, bless others with the gifts of money. How sweet. What about your family, though, you jerk? I mean, you stole the money from your family, it sounds like. It says dozens of bystanders stopped on the freeway to grab the cash, which was almost completely gone by 8 p.m. Wow, they really scooped it all up in 1 hour. Good job, guys. Well, you'd have to get there very quickly. Even if someone called you, like, yo, bro, get to the freeway right now. I-5, there's cash everywhere. All right, I'll be right there. Shows up. Oh, sorry, man, it's all gone. It says here that the bystanders, the people that were trying to get rich, did a, quote, pretty good job of cleaning it all up, according to the police lieutenant. The police say they warned McCarthy to stop throwing the money because it was dangerous for people to be running on the freeway in the dark. They say he took their advice, though. So did they catch him mission? He has a lot more to go, though, guys. I would follow him. Now, surprisingly, this guy, McCarthy, wasn't ultimately charged with any sort of crime whatsoever. He wasn't even cited. No ticket was written for this, although you could call it litter, technically. But it says here, the lieutenant says officers considered charging him because of the danger that it caused on the road. Yeah. It says while several bystanders benefited from the stunt, his family said they've been left penniless, unfortunately. We don't know the truth, though. I mean, they're saying this. A relative of McCarthy told the police that he had gained the money by draining his family's shared bank accounts, but the police said it is unlikely they will get it back. Ooh. Even though he did, how could they not get it back? I guess you could sue him for this, for theft. Well, this is a tricky situation here. Here's a quote from the police. Because it's shared, the bank accounts, they both have equal interests in the money. Oh, that's true. They're shared bank accounts. Oh, boy. Well, you shared your bank account with the wrong fella, it sounds like. Well, you never expect somebody that you share a bank account with to drain it of all the cash and then chuck it out the window of the car. You just don't expect that, really. I mean, you might be worried that they would spend it on drugs or going on vacations on themselves or something irresponsible, but you never would expect that they would just get in their car and be Robin Hood on the freeway like this. The family said that although it's unlikely to happen, they want people who found the cash to return it to the state police. Good luck. If anyone could please return that cash. It was my cash I was saving for my retirement to Boca. Ha! A woman injects herself with a spider in order to get high. Let's find out if she got high. A lady who injected herself with a crushed up black widow spider in an attempt to get high had the opposite experience. She did not get high. She ended up in the hospital. My guess is she was poisoned. I would never think to crush up a black widow to get high, but, people lick those toads and get high. Yeah, I don't blame the woman. Maybe she was broke and couldn't afford to get high any other way. She was just using what she had in her environment. Okay. The woman ended up in intensive care due to the effects of the spider's venom, which is extremely strong. You guys know black widows. I have heard that they could even kill a human being with their venom. Let's get some more details. They're not naming her, but she is 37 years old. She injected a mix of crushed up whole black widow spider and 10 milliliters of distilled water into her veins in order to get high. She told the doctors that the intention was to get high. Yeah, we know, get high. You don't have to keep writing it. Instead, about an hour later, instead of getting high, she ended up in the emergency room with severe muscle cramps. The cramping was concentrated in the woman's stomach, thighs, and back. Her heart rate and blood pressure were also soaring, and she also experienced headaches and anxiety. Morphine was used to treat the woman's severe pain. Maybe this was her attempt to get high on morphine indirectly. She's like, I can't afford morphine, and I don't know where to get it. Maybe if I could get admitted into the hospital, they'll give me some. What can I do? Oh, Black Widow, hi, how are you? The patient began to experience breathing difficulties eventually and was taken to the ICU where she was given treatments to assist her with her breathing. For several days, she was in ICU for doing this? Wow, this is dumb. Doctors believe that the contractions of her smooth bronchial muscles may have been responsible for her breathing difficulties. Given the concentration of venom, she would have it administered into her blood via the crushed spider. When alive, black widow spiders only bite when they feel threatened. However, when crushed up and injected, the results are dangerous, as the spider's venom is 15 times stronger than that of a rattlesnake. My goodness, and rattlesnakes are pretty deadly, man. 15 times stronger? I don't recommend crushing up black widow spiders and injecting them. I don't recommend crushing up black widow spiders and snorting them either. I don't think that would be a good idea. I have a very hot take on black widow spiders. My hot take is stay the hell away. Stay far away. They're deadly. 15 times stronger, their poison is, than a rattlesnake. We're learning. It says here, it was theorized by the doctors treating the woman that a protein in the spider's body may have triggered her body into producing a strong allergic reaction. So it's an allergic reaction and not a venomous reaction? I'm very confused here. Fortunately, the woman fully recovered from her symptoms. That's great. It says here, fortunately, the lady fully recovered from her symptoms, meaning the allergic reaction / very strong venom. I don't think she'll ever recover from her major symptom, which is just dumb. It's hard to recover from dumb. Most people carry that symptom for their entire lives. You know. Now, I myself enjoy drugs on a recreational basis, but I always do them safely and with loved ones, and I recommend all adults to do the same. And I don't recommend drugs for children, and I certainly don't recommend the venom of any creature in nature to be used as a drug. Don't go camping and think that you can get bit in the ass by a rattlesnake and that'll give you a nice night by the fire. Be careful, in other words, guys. I care about you. Would you like to easily create and distribute a podcast everywhere, even earn money all in one place for free? Well, try Spotify for Podcasters. Record and edit on your phone or computer. You can send it to Spotify and everywhere podcasts are heard. They even have video podcasting options as well. Spotify for Podcasters allows you to earn money with ads and subscriptions. Best of all, it's free. Try it. Download Spotify for Podcasters or go to spotify.com/podcasters to get started. And good luck with your podcast. Good luck with your life, man. Yay! Japan asked schools not to penalize students if they were late because of a groping. Japanese authorities said students are quite reluctant to report groping crimes to the police because they fear getting penalized for missing school. That's very strange. If you're getting groping, the least of your worries is missing school at that point. Getting groped is very traumatic. What else are they doing to stop the groping? Let's keep reading. The Japanese government has asked schools not to penalize the students if they're late or they miss classes because they were busy filing a police report after getting groped on their commute. Wow, this must be ubiquitous if they had to make this ruling here. Students in Japan are often deterred from going to the police after being molested on public transportation in the fear of getting punished for missing school. That's according to the country's education ministry. Let me get this straight. So they won't report to the police that they've been molested or sexually assaulted on public transportation because they fear getting punished for missing school. I mean, at some point, your grades need to take a back seat over there. And something's got to be done about this groping. This seems like a real big problem. Let's keep reading. The ministry's request is one of several policy changes that the government has put forward as part of a campaign launched last month to eliminate chikan. Chikan is the word for groping in public. The notice was sent to educational boards nationwide as Japanese schools begin a new term this month, and more students return to classrooms after disruptions during the COVID pandemic. 18-year-old Masami, a student in Greater Tokyo who was groped last year on her way to high school, welcomes this proposal. Masami, who asked to withhold her real name because she hadn't told her parents about this groping, said that she was frightened after being groped on the train and went home after reporting the incident to the station master. She told her teacher about the attack the next day, but the school nevertheless put a black mark on her attendance record. Yeah. Way to be supportive, school. What the heck? This is ridiculous. Wow, and she doesn't even feel comfortable telling her parents either. Here's a quote from Masami to the media regarding the school minister, I assume. She told me that I'd still be counted as absent because I'd missed a whole day of classes. It just seemed really unfair to me and didn't make any sense. It's not like I could have avoided getting groped. In the package of policy changes, groping is identified as a very serious crime that can cause enormous psychological and physical pain for victims. It reads here that it is an act that tramples on the dignity of the individual and is completely unforgivable. Groping on public transportation is a huge problem in Japan, where offenders face up to 6 months in prison or fines of up to 500,000 yen, which is about 3,700 USD. Women-only subway cars were introduced in Tokyo in 2005 in response to a spate of groping incidents. At that time, as many as 64% of women in their 20s and 30s in the Japanese capital reported having been groped on public transportation. 64%! That is outrageous! Eliminating public groping is one of several goals the government looks to achieve in order to attain gender equality. Yeah, this should have been ended long ago, where you're lagging behind Japan. I mean, come on, it's the 21st century. Get with it. Women should be allowed to feel safe in public. I mean, we don't grope in my country. We just shoot you in the face. That's not really working either. It says, in addition to asking schools to not penalize the students if they're late or miss classes when reporting groping crimes, the Educational Ministry has also requested that makeup classes be held as necessary. This can allow students to catch up on any missed assignments or lessons, they stated. This sounds like a terrible place to have a daughter, man. I'd be very nervous. Wondering how often, not if they're being groped, but when. I mean, it sounds like it's just happening to everybody over there on public transportation. These men are outrageous over there. Get it together. These guys, man. Pfft. You got to give these girls tasers and pepper spray and just allow them to go to town. Someone gropes them, just spray him in the face, tase him in the balls. Just do whatever you have to do, man. Humiliate him, drag him out on the train, tie him to the wall, and just like put a groper sign above them and let people all day long just tase them and pepper spray them. Is that harsh? I think it's appropriate. Yay! Well, hello there, and thank you for joining me for this episode of Weird AF News. And I'd like to give a shout out and much love to someone who joined my Patreon. Yes, Ashley Jen joined the Patreon. So pleased to wake up to an email saying that Ashley Jen has decided to support Weird AF News by joining the Patreon. Isn't that very gratuitous of her, gracious of her, and other adjectives that are too big for me? Anyways, I hope you enjoy the extra content in the Patreon, Ashley, and thank you so much for becoming a patron of Weird AF News and supporting Jonesy, recording in a closet. Very cool, very cool. My birthday's coming up the end of this month. If you guys want to give me a little birthday present, you can join the Patreon as well. And you can do so by going to patreon.com/weirdafnews or go to weirdafnews.com or just ask Ashley how to join the Patreon. She'll tell you. And you can also buy me coffee off my website as well. Or you could just email me and say, hey, I'm a fan. Happy birthday. That's cool. I love to hear from people. funnyjones@gmail.com is the email. funnyjones, one word, @gmail.com. The phone number to the show is 646-450-2012. You can call as well. Or you can slide into my DMs on Instagram @funnyjones. That's another way to do it. Well, I hope you enjoyed the episode. We have many more to go this week. Probably there'll be 5, I think, total. How many days are in a week? We're doing it, guys. We're doing it.